Hey guys, Justin here with Bulldog, getting ready to gear up for spring. Today I'm talking to you about the topic of seed versus hydroseeding. In other words, sow seeding, meaning sowing seed into the ground versus dumping a grass, fertilizer, slurry on top of the ground. Which is right for you, and what are the differences? Personally, I do both. It really doesn't matter to me which option you pick. For me, the cost, it's about a wash once we understand subsoil preparation and most importantly, seed bed prep. That is what I need to know because the two methods described here today have two complete different preparations. Subsoil. Before we discuss the differences, let's talk about similarities. We want our subsoil to be monolithic and not stratified. In easy to understand words, basically we're just talking about the subsoil to be uniform throughout. The best soil is 1/3, 2/3, where 1/3 is small granular sand and 2/3 is our rich organic soil high in carbon, our deep black dirt. Sand holds no organic matter, has zero nutrients, but has a fantastic ability to drain excess water. Solid compacted dirt will pool water when all the fines are compressed, almost like a clay bowl. We need a healthy balance between the two. Subsoil needs to have air exposure or be aerated so the plants can grow roots without being what's called root bound. That also allows water to filter into the root and bring nutrients to the plant. Pounding on the subsoil to 100% compaction and then rolling and grading the soil to glass is about the worst thing anyone can do. Leave that idea of golf courses and professional athletic fields where professional groundskeepers can keep pumping artificial steroids into the turf on a regular basis. Sand leveling and putting greens is outside of our discussion today and would require a very specific approach as well as very expensive long-term maintenance program. Think you can grow grass on top of sand? You can, but you really literally are going to fire hose money on your lawn. Most every residential homeowner just wants a nice, level, smooth lawn with a balanced mix of smooth and average maintenance. Average defined as maybe laying down a pre-emergent and then another round of herbicides, fertilizers in the fall. Moving from subsoil up to just the top of this dirt, let's discuss slopes and elevation changes. When we start a lawn from scratch, there is little to zero natural erosion control. We're starting from bare dirt. Erosion from rain or sprinkler systems is a primary predator in trying to establish turf, and this is where a skilled professional can help mitigate the impact. On a flat area, I have a smooth drum and can get your lawn looking fantastic early. Because I can, let me also be the first to say to you by no means need the seedbed to be flattened to glass to have a flat, smooth lawn. It's absolutely not true the only way to get a smooth lawn is to start from dirt flat as slate glass. This is important. We need to get over our own prejudice. When I groove a lawn, I mechanically install small ridges. Remember, we added air into the soil when we first began. We aerated it. Water, freeze-thaw cycles, and just time will settle out those little ridges. And after the second mowing, no one, including myself, could really tell the difference. So if I can install either a very smooth drum or small ridges, how do I know what's right for your specific job? Well, because I have failed before and I have no issues admitting my fail, which is the first attempt in learning. Let's talk application methods and let's focus on hydroseeding first. And here's what's going to separate me from the guy who only hydroseeds or the guy that only sows seed to soil. Preparations are not the same to get the same outcome. If you smooth drum roll a bed for hydroseeding, you are setting yourself up for failure, much like if you just hydroseed over bare, flattened dirt. I did it, my germination was terrible. Let me back up. It was just okay, and an okay job just doesn't cut it for me. See, hydroseeding relies on the water and slurry to mix with the soil to get seed to soil contact. Without the mixing of the slurry and the dirt, you'd be left with zero seed to soil contact. You're just spraying on top of a surface at that point. That's a problem because on a hydroseeder job, you want those tiny ridges that are filled with air. Once you hit it with the slurry, instantly those ridges dissolve, mix the slurry into the dirt. A little different but similar analogy would be to prepare a surface that you want to spray adhesive on. You need to rough up the surface just a little prior to applying adhesive. The hydroseed slurry is no different in that aspect. Remember, the tiny ridges, they're just full of air. It's an air pocket. Still talking application methods, this is a mechanical application or sow seeding. The TR3 rake prepares a near perfect surface for seed to soil. The TR3 leaves tiny ridges prior to broadcast spreading seed. The cultipacker then rolls and gently seats the seed to 1/4 inch but no more than 1/2 inch depth seed to soil. This combination also installs gentle erosion mitigation. Again, a little help from Mother Nature and some rain or just a sprinkler will dissolve or settle out any air trapped in the soil ridges, leaving a very smooth turf lawn. I can and I do smooth drum roll grass seed into the soil, but it has to be first decompacted or aerated and must be on flat ground or the most gentle of a slope. I will smooth drum roll light slopes, but I also have to have a discussion with the homeowner and get reassurance that they will be hand watering and paying close attention to possible pooling and erosion. It's a specific application with a specific requirement, and not every project is the same. Biggest selling point to hydroseeding in my book is you can spray a slurry where a tractor can't get to safely, such as a highway right-of-ways, excessive slopes, or projects that need a quick, call it, used car buff and shine. The seed is the exact same, but due to the application method required, a 2-time seeding rate, yes. You cannot scientifically measure the seed rate. You can't visually tell the seed rate either. It uses the same seed, the same fertilizer, but adds in a paper mulch and tackifier. The tackifier helps to slick the slurry when wet. When it dries, it helps to glue everything together. Seed has a very specific seed rate, and when you overcrowd seed, they start to compete and eventually die. Also, unless you understand and have the tools to properly achieve seed to soil contact as described earlier, you will be left with a crusty paper film with zero seed to soil contact and just a hope that the roots can penetrate whatever subsoil surface the slurry is sprayed on. For those reasons, I recommend planting or sowing grass seed whenever possible. However, in certain situations, I will hydromulch over an area if I feel there is a threat of erosion or if the client admits they're just not going to water 2 inches per week, broken up with low quantity, high frequency of watering. Water right through the heat of the day. Water droplets will not burn your lawn. Light refraction from droplets does nothing. It's an old wives' tale that has been myth-busted and came from water usage propaganda. Water burning a lawn is simply false. It's been scientifically proven. Time to put it to bed. So hydromulch, yep, there's a third process to understand. Any of the methods described earlier can work given proper initial preparation. Hydromulch on a flat lawn that has in-ground irrigation is an added cost that's just not drastically going to increase results. Hydroseeding glass flat surfaces stratifies, again, not uniform, stratifies the exact materials we need to be mixing. So seeding using a seed drill on technical terrain just might not be an option. Also, sow seeding or drilling seed over areas measured in square miles, well, it might be faster to hydroseed using a truck-mounted cannon and spray away. We also need to talk seed varieties and specifically just the cool climate. The final aspect that we really need to address here is the actual seed itself. To me, seeing boasted results of a lawn that needs to be mowed in 14 days with near perfect density is not very impressive. That was an early germination ryegrass lawn with a limited lifespan. Sure looks good for the first few months, but ask for pictures on year 2 and 3 to see why my opinion that it's not that impressive, not with additional overseeding and additional work. Some of the most impressive lawns, however, are those perennial ryegrass lawns, without question. Beautiful color, and they look just beautiful on the TV screen. However, those lawns are simply not a single seeding application of what we call a one and done. Okay, moving down the notch would be what's referred to as a contractor blend. A significant amount of high yield, high germination rye, but also adding in a little aspect of some fescue to lengthen the lifespan. A key aspect between ryegrass and fescue is a lack of rhizomes, or the ability to self-repair. Also, there isn't much for dormancy. If these grasses look yellow and dried out, they most likely are not going to come back with watering. When they die, they just die. I am aware of some fescues being labeled as potentially rhizomous or have the ability to do rhizomes. Unless someone can show me an academic research paper or another reputable research journal, I'm just going to leave that with the marketing department with, well, I'll believe it when I see it. This brings us up to some of the focused turf-type fescues growing in popularity due to some of their drought-resistant varieties as well as lush look and feel. A lot of my clients are now switching to what's called tough turf, a blended fescue. Finally, there's a Kentucky bluegrass, KBG. This grass has great dormancy. It also has great rhizomes, meaning the ability to self-repair through the root system. However, if there was a single silver bullet, we just haven't figured it out yet. With Kentucky bluegrass, there are significant side effects or the downsides, and one of them is the sprout and pout, where you can plant a Kentucky bluegrass lawn and it will take about 2 years to reach full germination, full yield, before you can say that's a thick, lush lawn. It just doesn't come up, shoot up within, that 14 days of, seeing the pictures of, other grass varieties. In the end, I hope some of these topics help get the thought process started. I don't really see a way that anyone can quote or give an exact one way to do it and always be successful and have the best results possible. I do honestly think that every project, every yard, every turf will need a site visit so we can look over the soil preparation, as well as the erosion and what we need to do for mitigations to help make this project the best it can be. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks, and cheers from the Bulldog.